Hey everyone, welcome to the Self-Awareness Journey podcast. I'm Melissa Albers.
And I'm JJ Parker. This podcast is for seekers of happiness, joy, and a centered approach to success in life. Seekers of their true, authentic selves.
Get ready for some real talk on everything from anxiety, emotions, and habits to love, compassion, and forgiveness. We know you'll be challenged and enlightened by this conversation, and we're so glad you're here. Let's dive in.
Well, we are right in the middle of teenagers, as everyone knows.
I know.
And,
you're becoming tired. I hear it.
Yeah. And for everyone who I'm sure has had teenagers, you included, know more than anyone, it's like you want them to do stuff.
Yeah.
And then they don't do it.
Or worse, they tell you they're going to and covertly do not.
And then they don't do it. Yeah.
Yes.
But it really got me thinking about like things I want to control. You know, like I think, especially when we get, you know, maybe there's like times of transitions or because he's, you know, our middle is going to go off to college soon. And,
yep.
Like changes in life or some disruption or things going on with you, a tendency is to want to control things more.
Oh, can I broaden this statement?
Yeah.
You're talking about wanting to control things. I actually think that it isn't even during change or stuff. I think it's when we have an expectation of something. It doesn't matter what the expectation is, who it's about, what the situation is, if it's good for us, not good for us. If we have a really strong expectation of something, then, and we're not really necessarily consciously aware, then I think we want to control what we're doing or what's happening to reach that expectation. I think that's what that whole pattern is, and it's really, really difficult. And
sometimes it's really subtle, like
yes.
the way it comes up. Because also, I sometimes think like there's a lot of fear happening under there, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
And that can drive those desires to control.
Yep.
And yeah, like you said, these expectations or these desires.
Yeah.
We want things to be a certain way.
Yeah. Well, you know, we can just go back to our original conversation that we've had many, many times over the years, and that is really there are only two sponsoring emotions to absolutely everything humans do. And it's either love or it's fear.
Yeah.
And if it's fear, then it's usually fear of not having enough or not being enough. You know?
In this teenager scenario, it's kind of the fear of like not moving out. So that would be the opposite of having.
Well, but I also think that it's, yeah.
But that is like, I mean, for us, that is kind of like one of the driving things is like, okay, we've got a young adult and we want him to be successful and move out and launch into the world and all of these things. And like you're saying, those are all expectations that I have.
Right.
And when there's like these little things that happen, whether they're big or almost nothing, we want to make sure we're influencing the outcome we want.
Right. I have a question for you. When you bring up control, like there's a bunch of things you want to control, because I think that's really wise that you're calling that out and noticing it. How does it feel? How do you feel that you know that you're trying to control an outcome? Like, how does it feel for you? Because I have really specific feelings when I'm trying to control something, and I'm just now landing on them as we're talking this through.
I would say like I like repetitively think about it. It's just it's constantly on my mind.
Yep. Oh, me too.
And I just can't let it go until and that causes me to like have to say something about it.
Yeah.
Right. Or else I can't get it out of my head. And that's super frustrating because it's like, why is this occupying so much space in my head?
Yeah, because for me, that's another feeling I have then is frustration because I think, why can't I? Okay, this is super funny. Why can't I control my wanting to control this? Right?
Layers of control. Or of lack of control.
Which just furthers the whole thing. Like, it just furthers the whole thing.
Like tightens the noose.
Yeah, it does tighten the noose. And a lot of times, do you ever find, you're a lot more, I think you're a lot more relaxed than I know you are in many ways in that, like when we're talking like in business or outcomes or certain family dynamics, like even the kids not doing what you think they should be doing, like the level of wanting to just jump in and fix something is trying to control. I mean, that isn't, and I think that they are the same thing. I'm going to try to fix this.
Yeah. I agree.
For the benefit of all. It's really helpful. This person just doesn't know what they need. I can fix this so easy.
That's like the generic man move. Like,
actually it is, isn't it? Oh my gosh, yeah.
What we do.
If you come to me with something, you obviously want me to fix it. Like, I can control this enough to fix this for you.
Well, so that's funny and interesting and insightful because like my go-to move is to fix everything. So what are these things that we like want to control in general, right? We want to control people.
Yes.
You talked about wanting to control. We want to control ourselves.
Yeah.
Which we've done. I don't know. 250 plus episodes on trying to figure out how to do with little success. I was like, controlling ourselves.
Actually, I think we've done 271 episodes.
We want to control our environment.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? Honestly, more insidiously or quietly, we want to control other people's emotions, other people's interactions with us. We want to control the outcomes of everything we're involved in, particularly if our ego is invested because we want it to look a certain way or be a certain way.
Oh, yeah, control our look. That's a good one. People do that a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, this is a great one. Try to control the way people see you. Okay? That's a really, really common one. And the funniest part about so much of this that we're talking about is we literally have zero control.
Yeah. Okay, so of all those things that we just listed, that seems to be like pretty much like the complete human experience. So
exactly.
What is left? You listed all of the things people do.
I think what's left is letting go. I think that's the only thing that's
literally
left.
That's not an option.
I know.
What are you talking about?
We need 75 podcasts in a row to talk about how to actually let go legitimately.
The whole summary of the self-awareness journey is do nothing.
Starting now. Actually, I would like to go into talking about different ways that we can manage control, but I actually would like to just talk about something right before we do that. And my question is that how do we, first of all, I'm asking you what your opinion is. How do you think we can identify what it is we're controlling? We're trying to control in our lives, like the patterns.
Yeah.
Isn't that an interesting idea? Like
that is a good question because when I've been thinking about this the past couple of days because I've definitely been attempting to apply control.
Sometimes you have to. So I mean, you're being really nice about it, but sometimes as the father in the family, there are things that you do have to try to manage.
Yeah, and that's where at some point we should talk about the difference in like control and boundaries because I think that's very interesting because there is a point where like yes, you can let things go. Yeah. But if you do that enough, it just feels like you're being taken advantage of or abused or blah, the list goes on. So it's like yes, I want to let go of control, but I need to have people understand what the boundary is. Yeah. And what happens if you cross the boundary. So So, but leading up to that boundary,
Right.
and I would say some people's boundaries are tighter and looser, but leading up to that sort of boundary spot, you are trying to apply control so you don't have to kind of hit that nuclear option.
Right. You know what's funny too is that even if I have an awareness about not wanting to control the situation or control others, which I have really worked on, I've been really working on that, and I will continue to work on that, I still try to overly control myself. So it's just applying it in the mirror instead of outwardly, and that doesn't help either, actually. I mean, not in the way that I'm referring it to. Obviously, we all have to have self-control. So it's not about that, but it's really the mental game of not trying to so heavily have an expectation in a situation that would lead me to behave outside of myself, trying so hard to hit that expectation, right? Like avoiding having a really big conversation that I need to have, or having a conversation that is difficult and yet taking every bit of control to remain more neutral. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that it's hard. It's really hard. It isn't just outward focused. It's mostly inward. I think it's mostly inward focused because we're telling ourselves stories.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is. Of course, it is all inward focused.
Yeah.
It looks a lot like outward focus, but it is inward.
Yeah. And I think that when you start to talk about boundaries, so I think what happens is if we're not really intimately aware of our own expectations, what ends up happening is we do try to falsely control something, and even including falsely creating a boundary, because we're trying to avoid the resentment from not having that high expectation that wasn't met. And I think resentment is a powerful emotion that drives a lot of our behaviors. And I think resentment is one of the emotions that causes people to want to create boundaries. Where what you're talking about really truly is a more pure, like, to help you stay on the rails of whatever this really strong expectation is that you have.
Well, we have all sorts of fancy words we can use around that, right? Like we're going to hold people accountable.
Famous word of the day.
It's like our favorite word at work, yeah.
I was going to say in business.
Everyone's accountable here. Well, so, like, how does this work? Like we have to rely on other people to get some things done, get our needs met, get our goals accomplished. And you know, like there is an element of us wanting to control things so we get to the outcome we want.
Yeah.
Is it possible to actually live life where you are able to let go of almost all that control, and still get to where you want? That almost seems like opposite of possible.
And I think it's very possible, and I think that's like so peaceful. That's your peace, right? It's like I think all right, this is we control external things because we are seeking peace. All right? But peace comes from within. It doesn't come from without. We cannot find peace externally. We cannot find peace by pushing it anywhere. Peace has to come by literally having a belief that it is okay and you don't have to control it. And you're in your centered space and you know where you're going. But I think what has to happen before all of that is agreements. I think there has to be agreements between humans, you know, like that have to be mutually agreed upon things. Like mutually. Can't be one person saying, yeah, I agree to this, and the other person going, sure, I agree, and then covertly not agreeing at all.
Yeah.
And then being on a different agenda, because then the first person feels like, okay, I have to control this. You said you were going to do this, or here's the document we agreed on, or this is the contract, or here's the project, or this is the relationship. What the relationship's supposed to look like now because we said so. You know, and I think that also is a level of control.
That's why I just thought, like, wait, if everyone can just let go, then there's no more lawyers. We need none of these contracts and agreements and anything like that.
Obviously, when a lot of people are involved, or different layers of, because I think that there's so many layers to this conversation of wanting to control, because, there are so many layers of politics. There's so many layers of hierarchy in families, who's in charge. That's, I think, one of the hardest. That's why I think parenting is so incredibly difficult, because we're trying to protect, which means that we do have to control certain situations. And then as they get older, we have to protect less and then watch them go do their thing. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do, because you see so many landmines. And so it makes you want to, with all good intention, control.
Yep. Which in a lot of ways could just backfire, right? Because you're right, it leads to resentment. I mean, it's pretty much like the same standard teenager story for all of history, right? Like,
yes,
like I want to just rebel against whatever my parents told me to do,
right? I agree.
Like you say, don't smoke, and then they'll be like,
ooh,
I heard more.
Smoke. Actually, that's what they say. Like, if you're trying to control the universe bringing you, manifesting your stuff, like all the new age mumbo jumbo that says you can have and be anything you want, just manifest it, think it through. Well, the universe hears the topic. The universe does not hear the verb. So if you say don't smoke, the universe hears smoke. Smoke. You said smoke, right? Same with teenagers. So in a lot of ways, they're really representing the universe.
Okay, now you're gonna lose me a little bit.
Okay, I'm sorry, but let's go back to what you asked in the beginning, because I think this is
frustrating teenagers are representing the universe. I gotta chew on that one for a while.
Yeah, that's exactly true, though, right? Because they're representing all the things that you don't really like and that you want to be different for you.
Yeah,
it's so true. Well, I do think it's important, though, to understand what kinds of things we are trying to control, and I think that it does take some time and effort, because it's not right in front of your face. I mean, some things are, like, you might have a repetitive argument about who takes the garbage can out. Like, that's obviously. But, the deeper, more meaningful things for us, or more emotionally nuanced things, I think a lot of times we don't realize that we're trying desperately to hold on to some semblance of order, which is trying to control it. And I don't think we can come up with strategies to create ways of combating control unless we actually understand what it is that we are trying to control.
So what are some of those things that, like, you said, like, the sponsoring feeling is fear, but there's like a whole ton of things in that side, on that side of that coin, right?
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
Like,
lots.
I mean, the big things that come to mind are, like, big changes. Like, again, big changes in life might be scary. You try to control that. Changes like jobs, relationships, people moving, things like that, right? Like, you want to control that stuff. Financial stuff.
Oh, yeah,
right?
I was just going to say financial.
Huge attempts to control that.
And those two topics could definitely be wound together, making it even more so.
Even more, yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm getting ready to retire. Do I have enough money?
Yeah.
Do I spend money the same way as my spouse? Now that I've been thinking about saving money all these years, can I actually change to not so that's a huge change of life, is thinking about retiring. Kids leaving the house, absolutely huge change of life. Like, oh my gosh, how do we parent adult children? Because it's actually more difficult in some ways than kid children. And I think, like, having a baby, like, we're a couple and we want to start having a house and a dog and a cat and a baby and 2 cars and a mortgage and like, how do we control this? Because I think a lot of times, don't you, when you're wanting to control something, you said fear. I agree. And what if it's the fear of the unknown? Because I actually think
that's another huge one.
The fear of the unknown.
Yeah, because if we can keep everything the same, that's comfortable. Right. We know that.
And predictable.
Yeah, we know that path. Even if it's actually, even in a lot of ways, even if those paths, those thought patterns, those relationships haven't been serving us,
Yeah.
we still stick to them.
Yeah, because they're predictable.
because we know them. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think and those are the major ones, and I think there's probably a whole bunch of subtle ones that would be worthy of exploring. And I think the best way to figure out what that is what are the repetitive, because you said it and it's so good, repetitive thoughts that you keep experiencing that are telling you a story. What are they?
Yeah.
Because that would absolutely be something that you're chewing on, noodling on, trying to figure out, trying to maybe control an outcome.
So if we decide after this amazing conversation,
is it
that
I hope it's not like a bowl of spaghetti, but
that I'm gonna stop trying to control things. Like, okay, so like in my very current and real example, like, you know, my teenagers, right? Like, I want them to do things, and they don't want to do them, or they're not going to do them. Like, is it as simple as just being like, okay, then don't come home at curfew, don't go to your job, don't go do that, you know, don't like, just don't, just stop caring. And they're actually right there.
Possible.
That's one of the hard parts right there, because doesn't control a lot of times look like caring?
Yes.
Or that's the story you tell yourself. I am trying to control this because I care. And that's that parenting thing you're talking about, like trying to keep an infant safe and trying to keep a teenager safe. They have that underlying theme of trying to keep that child safe. Yeah. But it might not serve either the child or the parent.
Well, no, I think it does in some ways. I mean, JJ, I think you're trying really, really well to be idealistic about it and to step outside of the frame. But I do think that when there's safety involved and long-term, wellness, I do think of course we're going to be very amped up about that. And parents, I think, take on way too much responsibility for their children at some point. Because the children are the ones that have to have the result of their actions. The children have to learn the consequences of their behaviors and their thoughts. The natural way of things is often a much greater teacher than us coming in, swooping in, fixing it when they have a perfect life lesson, and fixing it and swooping away. And then they're like, oh, cool. Yeah. So this really isn't a big deal if this happens 50 times.
I always tell Amber that, and especially it's so, I don't know if it's as much of a gender thing, but like with the boys only learn one way. It's by falling on their face. Like, we can tell them, don't run down the stairs 100 times. And then the only way they stop doing that is if they fall and face plant.
Yes.
I always joke, like, no, good parenting in our house looks like me pushing the kids over. So tripping them before they go down the stairs. See, now you just know. I never did that.
No, of course you didn't. No, of course you didn't. No, but I think this is a really, really worthy topic, and I don't think we know all the answers to this. But I think what I would then say is, when you do know what things you are trying to control, and you recognize, okay, I've tried this 100 times, and no matter what, I'm not going to be able to control it. So I need to take some different tactics to feel okay in this situation while I work at letting go of trying to have the outcome in my fist.
During those periods of, I'd say like extra control.
Yeah,
not
that's good.
Baseline control, but like we're really amped up about it. It's exhausting. Right?
It is so exhausting. We've been talking
about energy,
about...
and it's actually really pretty harmful on relationships, right? Like it really stresses trust, because you're just looking for every reason why that person didn't do what they were supposed to do.
It also
in your
affects
mind,
Yes, and it also affects the other relationships that you are participating in while you're very amped up about this one. Because you're upset about something. Yeah. You see that in the workplace a lot, where somebody is very much controlling, and it really makes other people like want to just like walk away and keep a wide breadth from that person, where that person may not have any idea they're doing that, but they're so into what it is they're trying to take care of, they don't recognize that they are really being overly invested and have such a high expectation of the output. There's no way it's going to be hit like that. And so then people pull away, and then in comes the resentment.
Yeah.
You know what?
I at work, the funniest job title to me at work is like most in all of our organizations, we've got like the accounting teams, right? The finance teams, and you might have like a CFO, an accountant, blah, blah. But one of the roles in the accounting team is a controller.
Yes.
And I always think like, that is such a funny job title. This is your job title.
Isn't it?
Controller. I control the things. Like, it seems heavy-handed.
I'm so good at it too. Watch me.
I'm going to rename.
It seems heavy-handed.
I think at my company I'm going to rename that job title. Like, I don't know, influencer. That sounds nicer.
That's in sales. You can't put it there.
I can't do that. Okay. We'll workshop that later.
Well, let's talk about boundaries before we end our conversation.
I would love to talk about boundaries, because like when does control or letting go of control push over a boundary?
Yeah. Well, how do you create a boundary? I think that's the thing. So I think the first part to this is really understanding the emotions behind your actions. And that's the part that I was saying earlier is a little more challenging to sit with. Maybe it's not, for our listeners and us, we've been doing this for a long time, but really just sitting with what it is that we're trying to control, and then asking yourself a bunch of questions like, what is the outcome of this control? Like, is this really the right way to be and think right now? Like, this expectation that I have, is this a realistic expectation? Or is it a safe expectation? Is this an expectation that keeps someone safe or keeps things from blowing up? Like the politics of the world today, there's lots and lots of examples where people's expectations are being highly questioned because they had beliefs about the outcomes of things, and they expected that people would be and do and act and have certain things to to be able to fulfill that. And a lot of people's expectations are getting blown out of the water because things are changing so fast. So like in the situation, even like that, like it's a huge situation that you're in, but really understanding what parts of it are triggering you emotionally and making you feel like crap. And then I think those strongest emotions are usually the ones that are for you to pay attention to. It's like, wait a minute, I'm really, really strongly invested in this outcome looking like this. Like, I'm so strong. Like, I'm not even flexible about it being any other way. There's a question like, is that true? Is this true? The story that I'm telling myself, is the level of flexibility that I'm not willing to have, is that appropriate or real? But then I think there are certain things that there are boundaries that are, yes, this is real. This is important to me for my psyche, my mental state, and, the safety of my children, where it is completely normal to have a boundary.
Yeah.
And be unwilling to switch it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that's where it gets into a situation where you have to decide, like if I can't control this, and I have this boundary that can't be crossed, then what? Then maybe that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. But you're right. Like, the boundary has to be the right one. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do when you're in relation with people, especially people that you love, is to hold a boundary.
And yeah, I think you're right. Like, a lot of the boundaries that maybe we set are kind of soft boundaries, or we let people go over them. So is it really a boundary again, or is it just an attempt at control?
No, I think some self boundaries are really healthy and very much needed and are good. Boundaries are important.
Yeah. And you get,
and I think that
you get into all sorts of other things like, well, we give this person a second chance. We've, forgiveness and, trying to work with somebody. But like, sometimes if those things get crossed too many times, a whole host of problems.
Lose trust.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, it is a complicated thing, control. But I do think
why are people so complicated?
Listen, I call that job security. Right, I'm okay with that.
I would like to just come in here and fix all these things, Melissa.
I think, you know what, oftentimes the level of control that we are imparting in something is the level of emotion that we have attached to it and the level of expectation that we have attached to it. And I honestly believe that to create a boundary may be something even so much as simple as the boundary I create for myself is to no longer spend 5 hours thinking about this. I am going to create some different personal boundaries about this, and I'm not going to judge myself. I'm going to observe myself if I'm able to do that. Because I don't know if it's the right boundary, but I'm going to just try it because it feels like this is the right one. And perhaps it's like you're close, but there's an adjustment here or an adjustment there. Playing with those emotions and being willing to observe yourself, I think, are the really huge keys to this boundary stuff and to control. Because I just feel like if you have a little more understanding of your own boundaries and then you don't do them or someone else doesn't do them, now you have a decision that you can make. You're not stuck in the same myriad of the problem recreating itself in a different light. Yeah. You know, you're moving through it. And I just think the key is not being so judgmental on ourselves about it. It's like if certain things are important to us, like as a parent of a teenager, yes, those things are important. There's certain things that are just important and that's okay. You know, that's okay. I think that's the other thing is just being okay with sometimes, you know what, I do have to be a certain way and I don't like being like that, but it's very important right now that I am for these reasons. I don't know.
I
don't know.
Well, I think this is super helpful. And like so many of these things, control or attempting to control or attempting to let go of control, we get to practice so many times every single day. We get so many opportunities to practice.
Oh, I agree. And with certain people and personalities, yes, absolutely. Welcome to triggers, folks. We've talked about triggers before.
Did you enjoy this episode? Please go to your favorite podcast platform to subscribe, rate, and leave a review so others can discover it as well. Growing self-awareness is a lifelong journey, and it's better when we're all in it together. Please think of someone you know who could benefit from hearing today's conversation and share this episode with them.
We can't thank you enough for listening. Until next time, happy exploring.